It's time for Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore. A Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you.
Brought to you by Joe Lunghammer Chevrolet of Waterford.
Plan your next vehicle purchase or get your credit rolling in the right direction with Regina today. And now, Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You listen to Be in the Driver's Seat, and I am Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. Regina Eileen Woodard, a.k.a. the Queen of Car Loans.
What's up, everybody? It's Dr. T. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. It's Mr. Trust the Process. What's going on, y'all? What's happening on this beautiful Saturday morning?
Listen, I'm excited to be in the studio. Listen, y'all, we've been ragging on Gil this morning. He in here fly. He in here fly this morning from the head to the toe.
From head to toe.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a video. You guys need to go to Be in the Driver's Seat on Facebook and check that video. I started at his feet and I went all the way up to his big head. Mr. Trust the Process.
Listen, I told you, when y'all got older sisters like this, don't get jealous.
Wait a minute, older? You know, come on.
Seasoned. Bigger sisters.
I'm getting
That's what
offended by
y'all tell
people that's
me.
calling me older and seasoned.
I don't even know where you're going with this.
Where you going with it, Gil?
I just said, when you have seasoned, older sisters, I mean, it's a benefit.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
like
When
a
you the
little
younger,
salt and pepper. I guess
when
I
you
am
the younger
seasoned.
brother, it's a benefit. It's a benefit of being the younger brother.
I guess.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
guess.
Like it's and
What's the benefit? What's the benefit?
The benefit of it is like you have covering. So I got older sisters and I have covering. So even with my wife, and my wife is my covering, she's my queen, I got older sisters that will knock your head off of me and my wife. So with that is a benefit. Some people don't have all that. So I'm appreciative of that.
Well, thank God for the benefits.
Thank God for the benefits.
We want you to be appreciative of the benefits of having seasoned and older sisters because we do have your back. Even when you make us mad as I don't know what is out. It's Christian radio, so I can't curse.
Lord help Regina.
But help me, Lord. Even though he make us sometimes mad.
He don't make me mad.
Okay, well, you make me mad.
That's what's supposed to happen.
Oh, what?
That's the benefit of having seasoned older
Y'all
sisters.
see how this Saturday going, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my
What
goodness.
the word? I don't have to listen.
Listen, I
y'all
think we
gonna
gotta get to
me?
we gotta get to the word of the day because
Come on.
listen,
We gotta get to the word of the
it
day.
needs to be a little humility in here.
It
so
is
that's the
humility.
word of the day this morning.
Love.
Humility. So
Gotcha.
humility is like modesty or lowly, meek, right? Or being in a submissive state, right? So when I think about humility first of all, let me think about humility as a Christian woman. First of all, the Bible tells us, I'm going to go back, 2 Peter, right, says, humble yourself. It says humble yourself, right? So what does humble yourself mean? I'm going to get that scripture so that y'all can hear that on the radio. So 2 Peter tells us to humble ourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. And the second part of that says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. So humbleness really is to get in a low state and reverence God. But as a therapist, humbleness is to really sit back and really understand who you are servicing, listen to them, and then before you make any judgments, before you come up with any plan, to listen and then listen again. Have a listening ear, but be humble enough to know that, you know what, this person trusted me enough to sit in front of me, so let me hear them out without judgment. Humbleness.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. But I take that and I receive that. And I think, especially nowadays, this 2023 era that we in, where people just feels like they go on Instagram, they see this instant gratification, and people have a problem with comparing, right? And then with that comparing comes a false sense of confidence. You pretend to be what you're not because you see other people or other competitors or you see them as competitors. I don't see how you can do that. But when God individually makes you and you understand that and you live in that purpose and you live in that being humble is not weak. Being humble is actually smart. Yeah. Because I've learned that sometimes you don't have to show somebody what you're capable of because they don't identify it. it is always, in most practices that I've learned, is just to be humble. And humble doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less strong. It just allows you to be confident in who you are and whose you are. And once you identify that, humility, walking in it on a daily practice for me has become easier and easier on a daily basis, because I put my confidence and I know what God is going to do for me, because what's for me is for me.
Amen.
So humility to me is keeping your mouth shut, keeping your mouth closed. Sometimes they say closed mouths don't get fed, right? But when you have humility, you already have that confidence inside and outside. You walk with confidence. You speak confidence. So you don't have to burst out. You don't have to show what you have or what you're doing, because it's already there. People are already paying attention to you already. So the humility is like being just quiet. You can move in silence and accomplish so much.
That's good.
And that's pretty much it for me. I don't have a long verse on that, because sometimes the queen just got to get in and get out.
That's good,
like basketball.
though.
Get in, get out.
That's good, though. But I think humility, first of all, as a Christian, the Bible tells us that if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves. So God really tells us to humble ourselves. That means come off your pedestal, come down, and get into a lowly place with me, a submissive place with me, and then I will hear you, and then I will heal. So God gives us some promises when we are humble. He makes promises to us. So that's good this morning. Good job.
Man, I tell you, being in law enforcement and working in public education, a lot of times in as a leader in both of those industries, specifically in my community, I've learned to have to adjust to make that a part of my practice. Because when people come to me or they're asking for something, sometimes it's in a very heightened state of mind, right? No matter if you're in the business side or if you're in the legal side, they want something. It's something that's bothering them, hurting them. And I've had to really take time to step back a lot of times. Like, they're not really going at you, Gil. They're not really looking at you, Gil. It's just the fact that if you represent in strength, be humble enough to understand that God is allowing them to see you as strength. And then you have to just say, okay, identify what it is and be like, okay, hey, let me help you. Let me not understand what you're saying. And humility allows you to hear. A lot of times it really opens up your hearing to a point where you're sensitive enough to be empathetic enough to why that person is coming to you. And it's a hard practice. It is something that you have to do on a regular basis. It's like practicing the art of forgiveness. Hopefully we can really talk about that one day. But it is a practice that I'm telling you, it will yield much fruit if you do it on a daily basis.
That's good.
Well, I think I want to talk about the art of forgiveness. I know we got one word here, but let's give it another word. I like that word of forgiveness, because too many times people go to their grave, which means they pass away, whether they get burned up or they get buried. They don't forgive.
Cremated.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Well, cremated, okay, you use the word, okay. But they don't forgive. Yeah. You have to have a forgiving heart. Too many times we spend time on the path with what somebody done to us, and not really dealing with it head on. And why don't we deal with our problems head on? See, when I think about humility, I also think about forgiveness. Just like you said, because being in the era that you were in right now, we got to have both in order to survive. We have our good days and we have our bad days. For instance, this morning I said I had to block somebody. I did, because I don't need all that negative energy. Negative energy is not in my face to a certain extent as far as every day. But when I hear comments, when I hear things, and I know it's true because I know that person, I've gotten to know that person, I had to block them. So when I blocked them, I felt good, because now it's time for me to I'm cleaning out my closet.
That's good. Be humble enough to, say I forgive you. Be humble enough to say I'm sorry. Oftentimes we have our egos and we're, have our things that we say we're going to do and we're not going to do. But be humble enough to say you're sorry. But the biggest thing for forgiveness, forgive yourself. Give yourself permission to forgive yourself.
What?
We may not always get it right every time. But give yourself permission to forgive yourself. Oftentimes, we're the ones that's living in the past. We're the ones that's replaying things over and over in our heads after things are done. Give yourself permission to forgive yourself and get up and live.
Oh, that's that hit you in your shana na man right there. Listen, testimony, 2 years. I went into my first year of practicing the art of forgiveness. The last year was forgiving myself. And when I tell you, you have to go to people, whether you feel you've done anything to them or not. And a lot of times it's just a practice to make sure that you understand how to soften your heart. And practicing the art of forgiveness does just that. It allows you to soften your heart enough to make room for people who you're supposed to have in your life.
Amen.
Now, and the second part of that is when forgiving yourself, accept the apology from the person that you're never going to get from them physically. Like once I turned that switch on, to the point of I know this person is going to hold this grudge or they have something against me, and I've went to them and I've gotten to a point where I think that they owed me an apology, and you have to learn to accept the fact that you're just not going to get that and leave them in that space of where they're at. Jonah was supposed to go send a message to a group of people that he did not like.
That's right.
And God requires you to do things that you don't like to get you to understand his love for everybody around you. So sometimes you're going to have to serve some people and do some things and move in some positions, have some people come to you, be in agreement with some people, put your best foot forward for some people that just don't like you, don't care nothing about you, don't have your best interests at heart. But you got to understand that sitting in your truth, and sitting in your truth is really sitting in God. That's that practicing the art of forgiveness. And you better get ready for that if you say you want to serve God.
I want to throw my pen at him right now. That's good.
Well, you know what? Let me just come back on that and say this. So when you ask for forgiveness, do you say, I'm sorry, or do you forgive me, or do you do it with actions? Because people don't say, I'm sorry these days with their mouth, or they don't say, please forgive me, but they'll come back and they'll be nicer to you. They'll do things for you that you think that things that they normally don't do, or they may do that extra. So people do that. I mean, I say, I'm sorry or my bad, right? I say that because that's just the way I was raised, right? But people don't use it verbally. How do you deal with that?
So here's the thing, even in the Bible, right? So the Bible tells us to repent. That means to say I'm sorry and turn away from a thing. So when you have wronged someone, say I'm sorry and turn away from doing it. Don't repeat what you've done. And so oftentimes people don't believe I'm sorry from folks because they'll say they're sorry, but then they'll turn around and do it again. But you're asking a question, how do we do that? So people who don't say I'm sorry, they're looking for an easy way out. It's okay to say I'm sorry, my bad, I didn't mean to do that. When you can't accept that you were wrong and speak it out, then we have a problem. We have a problem. Be accountable for your actions.
And it's just like that. If I can see and identify that you're sorry by your actions, not necessarily that I needed you to say it, you changed how you approached me. You changed how you done. But once somebody show you who they are repeatedly, minus the repeatedly over a 2, that's who you are. And if that's who you are at that time, because you can change, never not give room for somebody to change, because they can change. Yeah. But if you show me who you are at that moment, I'm going to believe you for that moment. And I have to adjust who I am accordingly. Because if I don't, I can falter myself. I can harm myself. And that's just something that just at this stage in my life, I'm just not willing to do no more.
I don't have no words to come back on that one. I'm sorry. I'm kind of done, because if I keep talking, that's going to take us into another segment. Yeah. So this is one of our best segments this morning on Word of the Day or Word of the Week.
That's good. I'm excited.
I enjoyed that. We'll be right back after we pay some bills.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, service manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have, from warranty work to routine oil changes. We treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Are you paying high interest rates on a car loan? Do you desire to purchase a home, but you're unable to get approved? Perhaps you're repeatedly getting denied for credit when applying for credit cards. Listen, better credit doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen. I've helped hundreds of people better their credit and their overall financial situation by applying a simple set of instructions that anyone can follow. Call me today, 1-800-988-9184. That's Cathy Washington, your financial impact coach, at 1-800-988-9184. Don't delay. Call today.
Hi, Joe Longhammer here from Joe Longhammer Chevrolet with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans and the Queen of Community. Isn't that right, Regina?
That's right. When you buy a car from me, you get on the road in style and you'll be enrolled in the Joe and the Queen's Community Program, where we help you work your way towards better credit.
Joe knows it's good to help our community here in Waterford and Metro Detroit.
To find me, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Regina, the Queen of Car Loans here with Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed and driving today. Simply Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. Ride in style with the Queen. Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
We're back, and we are speaking today to Miss Cathy Washington, our financial coach, all the way out of Atlanta, Georgia. Good morning, Cathy.
Good morning, Cathy.
Cathy, what's going on in the hot Atlanta?
Good morning, you all. I'm super excited to be here. It is hot here. You're absolutely right. And we're here to talk about student loan and some credit today. Student loan and credit.
I'm excited about that, Cathy. Let's get into it.
Let's go. Listen, I just really wanted to bring something to folks' attention because I think that this is probably not getting the kind of visibility that it needs right now. You know, we've been on this 3-year pause, right, with our federal student loans, and people may not be aware that these loans are going to start. You're going to start having to repay these loans starting September 1st. And that came about as a result of the debt ceiling, bill that was passed and really compelled our president to really end the pause. Prior to that, we were, the pause just kept being extended because, we have a bill with the Supreme Court that really the decision, it was pending the decision from the Supreme Court that would basically wipe out $20,000 of the student loan debt per borrower if, that passed. And if you had less than $125,000 in income. And so now what's happening with this new bill, the debt ceiling bill, people are going to be in a position where they're going to have to start repaying their student loans. And I think that we, especially in our community, want to make sure people are aware. Don't get caught by surprise, because one of the biggest things that we know is, 35% of your payment history, is, your credit score is your payment history. So we want to make sure that people are aware that these payments are going to start September 1st. So that's the biggest thing I want to bring to the call today and make sure that people are aware.
Wow. So, Cathy, I, as a person who had student loans in the past, the pause really helped us out, and even the cancellation of some of the debt. But what are some suggestions that you will give to those who has a student loan balance but been on pause for the last 3 years? What do you suggest that they, how do you reapproach this repayment?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing I would say is you got to mentally get ready, right? And you got to make sure you have the money in your budget, which means the money that may have been set aside, for your student loans may have gotten allocated somewhere else. So now you need to go back and revisit that budget and make sure that, $200 or whatever you were paying a month for a student loan, you make sure you have that available in your student loan, in your budget. And then the other thing that I would say is, these student loans get passed on from loan, service provider to service provider. So you want to make sure you know who you need to contact anyway. So you need to contact your service provider. And I do have some information that might be helpful for folks that are like, it's been 3 years. I don't even know who had my account the last time. Right. Maybe it got sold to someone else. And so with that, they want to go ahead and contact studentaid.gov. That's studentaid.gov. And I also have a phone number that you can actually reach out to. Just contact the Federal Student Aid Information Center at 1-800-433-3243. That's 1-800-433-3243. Because you want to make sure people thinking, okay, well, I had it so that it was set up, it was automatically, came out of my account. You want to make sure you check in on that because that may not be the case. Those automatic restarts may not happen. You got to contact your service provider and make sure you set up that, automatic payment withdrawal or however you want to set that up. You just want to make sure you go ahead and you be intentional. You be your personal advocate. You do it.
So, Cathy,
reach out to them.
Cathy, I got a question to that. When you said that the loan could possibly go to another service provider, does that mean that can they sell your loan without? Does that mean they can sell your loan without telling you? That's question one. And question two, can your interest rate go up because you have another service provider?
That's a very interesting question. I do know for certain they can sell your loan without your knowledge. They can send you some information, but your loan can be easily sold from one service provider to another. Another question regarding interest rate, that's very interesting. I am not certain of that. That was something I would have to definitely research and kind of come back to the team with. But I definitely think that you want to contact your loan provider. You want to make sure you understand, the details around your loan.
So, I want to talk about this automatic withdrawal. Coming out your account or anything with automatic withdrawal, you got to pay attention because these bills that we owe, credit card companies, student loans, car payments, any type of bill that you owe, even your house payment, anything that you owe, you got to be careful with the automatic payments because sometimes they might be double charging you or slipping a charge in there. And just imagine if they did it to you, they probably did it to millions of people in the world. And they're not, and if you don't notice it and they don't get called out, then they're going to keep that money. So just pay attention. I recently just had to call a cleaning company out that was cleaning my house for payments. I stopped. I emailed them. I left a voicemail, and they continued to actually withdraw the money out of my account. So I went to the left and I called my credit card company. And when I did that, everything started to happen.
Wow. Like, did they just so isn't that, do you have to go to civil court for something like that? Like, how do you, with these big student loan companies, and they taking these extra payments from people who, hey, I'm just trying to stay on top of my game. I don't, I have automatic payment because I don't want to default on a payment. Can you take them to court? How does that process work if they double pay?
I would think you would definitely have an opportunity to take them to court. I definitely would be on top of it. Regina was absolutely correct. You want to stay on top of your stuff. And I'm always talking about being, your personal advocate anyway. Of course, you could consult an attorney and see what your legal rights are, because at the end of the day, you don't want your loans to go into default at all. You want to make sure that you are, being proactive. If you're not able to pay, then contact them and they will, tell you what your options are. Can you utilize some sort of forbearance, or can you utilize some sort of hardship program that would allow you to, be delayed? Just keep in mind that I think even with those programs, you're probably still going to experience, some accruing of interest. So you just want to keep it.
Cathy, I have a question. So I know that you said that other companies can buy the loan. Have you ever had experience or know of anyone who the loan was transferred to and it wasn't a credible source? And the reason why I ask you that, because I remember many years ago that some institutions were buying student loans, and it came to find out that that was not a credible institution, and they had to refund the student loan money back that they had taken. And so now the person had to go back to the originality of the loan because that particular entity was not a credible entity.
All the more reason why, Dr. T, I think people need to make sure they know personally what's going on with their loan and who that it's been transferred to. And, you can do your research and determine, hey, is this somebody that, like I had a company that mine was transferred to. I didn't even know who the company was, and literally did my own, research just to determine whether or not this was a viable company. Fortunately for me, it did turn out to be a viable company. But that just really supports the whole thought process around, just making sure that we're being proactive. Don't just let stuff happen to you, but don't just be in a place of, reacting to what has happened. You be proactive and go ahead and make sure you're on the front end of it. You understand what's happening.
So Cathy, what's a good time to, and you said start in September, so for our listeners who's listening in and may not know a good time to contact their provider or who they think that their provider is right now is the good time for them? Is now the time?
Yes, now is the time. You need to start preparing because the bill has already passed where we know for certain that this is going to restart September 1st. So you want to make sure you are, preparing. So go ahead and make the phone call to the Federal Student Aid Information Center or, go to studentaid.gov and really start to look at what is it going to take for you to be prepared, financially prepared. Also understanding, who your service provider is and making sure that you're ready for this because it's coming. I mean, before we didn't have a solid date, they just kept saying, there's a possibility of an extension or, and so it was just kind of like the timeline just kept being pushed. Now we have a solid time frame. So I would definitely encourage everyone, do your due diligence, make sure you get the word out, talk to your family and friends. People don't know, what's happening. So we want to make sure that we educate, folks that, hey, it's coming. Let's get ready.
Yeah. I know. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. T, you got something?
I was just going to say, it's been 3 years, since COVID happened. And what about the persons whose income has changed drastically? If now that they're changing, saying, hey, student loans are going to be due in September, is there something that the borrowee can do to get the loan adjusted?
They could possibly have that refied. We definitely have a program where you can refi your student loan. So contact me. Let me go ahead and give my information, Dr. T. So folks can contact me if they're in a position where they want to refi those loans and get a better interest rate than what they have. You can certainly reach out to me, 1-800-988-9184, 1-800-988-9184.
Before we end this segment, I do just want to talk about one quick thing I want to say is hardship program. When you do a hardship with your lender or anyone, you just want to find out, are they going to report to your credit report? Because I remember when COVID kicked in, was it 3 years ago now? Mm-hmm. And, the mortgage companies, they actually did not report to your credit report during the hardship because it was a hardship in the world with COVID that didn't nobody expect. But normally people get confused on a hardship. They think because they call and they say, you know what, I'm having a hardship right now, you make arrangements that they're not going to be reporting to your credit report. But most of these companies, they report to your credit report, especially if you're going through a hardship that you actually, it's not the world. It's your own hardship, and everybody goes through that hardship. Mm-hmm. So I think that's something that people need to ask that particular company.
So do you have companies that you deal with, Ms. Cathy, that specialize in hardships? Is that something that's directed when they call you? Is that a service that you provide as well?
We do have, I can just tell you that we do have the refi program. Now, with that refi program, you can certainly refi your, you can certainly refi your existing loan. I don't have any hardship services that I can provide at this time, but definitely reach out to me. We'll explore whatever your options are.
All right, I appreciate that. So I got one quick question, though. So
we don't have time for questions. We got to wrap it up. Sorry.
Well, I appreciate you, Miss Cathy. I definitely gonna save it for the next segment. I'm just a big advocate for our student loan people out there. Thank you again for what you're doing for us.
You're so welcome. Definitely appreciate you all this morning. And if you want to reach out again, the number is 1-800-988-9184, 1-800-988-9184. You can reach me on my website, CathyWashington.com.
Well, I just want to say we look forward to your segment every month, Cathy, and we always appreciate you coming on, sharing the great information that you shared. And what's your number again? They can reach out to you, and what's your website one more time, Cathy?
Certainly, it's 1-800-988-9184, 1-800-988-9184, and it's CathyWashington.com.
Cathy,
you can certainly follow me on Facebook at Impact Life Now.
CathyWashington.com, or follow her on Facebook. All right. We'll be right back after we pay some more bills. We'll be right back with...
We're coming back with Natasha Selley-West, and I'm excited, so y'all get your pens and paper out.
Be right back. It's the Therapist Corner coming up. We'll be right back.
Hi, Joe Longhammer here from Joe Longhammer Chevrolet with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans and the Queen of Community. Isn't that right, Regina?
That's right. When you buy a car from me, you get on the road in style and you'll be enrolled in the Joe and the Queen's Community Program, where we help you work your way towards better credit.
Joe knows it's good to help our community here in Waterford and Metro Detroit.
To find me, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Regina, the Queen of Car Loans here with Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed and driving today. Simply Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. Ride in style with the Queen. Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, Service Manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule the next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Are you paying high interest rates on a car loan? Do you desire to purchase a home, but you're unable to get approved? Perhaps you're repeatedly getting denied for credit when applying for credit cards. Listen, better credit doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen. I've helped hundreds of people better their credit and their overall financial situation by applying a simple set of instructions that anyone can follow. Call me today, 1-800-988-9184. That's Cathy Washington, your financial impact coach, at 1-800-988-9184. Don't delay. Call today.
You are still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat, and I am super excited. It's now time for the Therapist Corner, Points to Ponder, and I have in the studio today my sis, my friend, Natasha Selley-West. Good morning, Natasha.
Good morning. Happy Saturday.
Y'all ain't gonna say good morning?
Well, yes, good morning.
Hey, listen, we can. I'm looking at her as she been watching us through the whole, show and doing what we need to do. You gotta jump up. Good morning, ma'am. How you doing this morning?
I am well and excited to be here. Thank you.
Oh, man.
She did jump us this morning.
Y'all better get it together. Listen, I'm so excited. Y'all see the hard time they give the therapist in the house. Listen, so let's get into today. So Natasha Selley-West is in the studio today. Let me tell y'all a little bit about her. She is a professional, a licensed. First of all, let me put that license in front of there. She is a licensed professional counselor who has over 20 years of experience in the game. Listen, I am so excited. She provides mental health services to children, women, men, and families. And guess what her motto is? She says that she believes that mental health professionals, they do not take care of themselves. She believes that as a therapist, that self-care is very important. She says too many times, many of us run around taking care of everybody else and taking care of our outside appearances to show the world one side of us, but never take the time and the care for our inner selves. That's huge. So this morning, I'm so glad to have her in the studio. And so, Natasha, good morning, and kind of tell us how you got into business.
Oh my goodness, how did I get into this business of being a licensed professional counselor? Well, my background is working in child welfare. I actually worked for the state of Michigan for 23 years. And I went back to school to get my master's in counseling so that I can be better prepared to serve. So that's kind of how I did my transition, seeing a lot of hurt people and wanting to be on the other end of that, to be able to support them and guide them and give them some tools on how to live a better life.
Whoa, wait a minute. So wait, you started with the state of Michigan. So you were in child welfare. So you did a good transition. You went from seeing it through one lens as working as a state worker to becoming a therapist. And so now you're helping the whole person.
Yes.
So tell me about that transition.
Oh my goodness. It was a journey. Believe that. Believe leaving my safety and my comfort zone to go and start a whole new career, which I feel like is my passion. It is my purpose. And it's a true blessing to be in this field.
Amen. That's good. I love that. But okay, so let's kind of get into it. You talk about self-care. So as I was reading your bio, you said oftentimes that we kind of dress up the outside, but never take any time to take care of the inside. So let's kind of talk about what that looks like.
Okay, so for women, we go get our nails done, we get a pedicure, we go out to eat with our girls, get our hair done. We do all these things to look good on the outside, but we never really take the time to feel what is going on in my inner self. And it's a lot of time as women, all women, we are so busy taking care of everyone else, doing everything for everyone. And with that, sometimes we come across as being angry, anxious, and on edge because who's there for us?
Wow.
And so that's why I think counseling is so important. It's being able to sit and talk to someone, a licensed professional, who is not there to judge you, but there to hold you accountable for your journey through change by giving you tools to learn how to manage your stress and your anxiety and just your day-to-day life.
You know what? You said a word, accountability. So we often talk about accountability on bids. Accountability is really being accountable for your actions, being responsible for the things you do and you don't do, and just being able to accept I did this or didn't do it. But, one of the things that I've always told and talked to my clients about is the 3-part process: feel, deal, heal, right? And so oftentimes, because we want to be everything to everyone else, we don't give that same love back to ourselves. And so we do manage that by just doing outside things. Like we want to dress up the outside, but sometimes we're hurting. Sometimes we actually need to sit in front of somebody. So one of the things I, share with the clients and even those that are around me, allow yourself to feel. Oftentimes we feel like that we can't show our emotions. Women are emotional beings, right? And so oftentimes we feel like if we're professional, if we are in positions that demand a lot from us, we feel like that we have to put on this outer exterior that I'm so hard that I gotta do it. I have to show up for everybody. And we forget that we're still human too. So how do you help your clients balance it all?
Well, what I do is I talk to them about setting boundaries and being okay with setting boundaries. Even, setting boundaries with yourself by saying, no, I cannot do that. No, that's not good for me.
Let's talk about no real quick, though. What does the word no mean? Like, no.
Just no. You don't have to give any explanation for taking care of yourself, for saying no. And learning to be comfortable with that. Learning to be okay with setting your boundaries and sticking to your boundaries no matter what, people will fall in line. They will fall in line and respect.
People don't like boundaries, though.
Wait. So, whoa. So it's okay to say no and not give a reason why?
Absolutely.
So why? I mean, sometimes people feel they need a reason why when you say no.
No, they don't.
Because I need to get that. I need to start saying no. I say no, but I feel always got to give a reason why. And then Dr. T would say to me, "You don't have to get. You don't have to say why." That's just me. I just like even if they're not in my inner circle, I'm like telling them why.
Where does that come from? Where does that come from, though?
Well, here's the thing. It's within us. It's an innate thing. So it's an innate thing. So it's something that's embedded in us, right? And so we feel like that we always have to show up and be the solution for other people because that's secretly or it was something we needed. So it's actually a personal thing. So when you can say no and be able to walk away confidently, that means you set the boundary, like Natasha said. But in other words, if you feel guilty or you feel like you have to go back and fix it, it's because there's something inside of you that you need God to work on, that you need help with, and you need a therapist to help you because guess what? No is a word. And everybody's not going to show up like you. So stop expecting you from everybody else.
Why are you pointing your finger down like that while we're in the studio this Saturday morning? You like, no. You get your finger, no. Stop expecting everybody else.
Because I need everybody to know.
Nobody can see
I need
you.
everybody to know that boundaries are important. Like she's talking about boundaries. Oftentimes when we don't set boundaries, we stressed out, we anxious, and now we're sitting in front of the therapist because we can't get our emotions in order.
So, but Natasha, tell us a little bit about, and you and Dr. T have stated this, and we paused on no, but how is no and accountability, are they one and the same?
Well, when someone's with me and we're talking about setting boundaries and helping you to deal with and manage your stress, and we're setting those boundaries and we're saying no, and we're in the process of therapy, and I'm coming back, you coming back to me, and I'm going to say, well, how did you do? What did you do? And asking how people are responding to you. And I'm holding you accountable for the actions that you take or you don't take. Okay. So that's how I keep people accountable. And sometimes they say, I hear your voice in my head. Now what would Natasha say? So that's how I work with people.
So how strong, so now we have those three big words now. Now and this is what I'm hearing, no, accountability, and boundaries. Yes. So that's almost like how is that? Is that like a safety net or that safety toolbox for the individual? Is that where you start with trying to get the person to understand what no is, what accountability is, and what boundaries are?
Yes, that's getting started on you learning how to take care of yourself and learning to be comfortable with setting the boundaries to take care of yourself so that you can actually be better for others. So you can show up better. Because if you're running around on empty and you're wondering why you're so hyper, why am I so angry, why am I so tight, it's because you haven't set those boundaries and learned how to say no.
That's good.
How do you set boundaries, though? Wait a minute, I had to jump up on that.
Right.
How do you set boundaries? How?
Well, how you learn to set boundaries is being in tune, in touch with yourself. And so once you start to feel something, hey girl, you want to go to the movies? You feel, no, that's not in my spirit. I don't feel like it. I'm tired. So you're listening to yourself and being in tune with yourself so that if you don't want to do something, you know that doesn't feel good for you. So that's how you're learning to set boundaries. It's a feeling that you have.
That's good. I remember posting something a few weeks ago, and the post said that I asked myself, I think this was Lady Gaga. She said, I ask myself daily, is this something that I really want to do? And I take a few moments and I sit and I listen. And if it's something I really want to do, then I do it. But if it's something that I don't want to do, I quickly say no. And so I think oftentimes that we don't want to say no. We don't want to set boundaries. We don't want to disappoint someone because we always want to show up because it's in us.
So, but how do we set the boundary? And we talked about this before, especially with our listeners, right? We have listeners that really want to do right by God, really want to understand what their purpose are, really don't want to, let God down. What tools or what technique can you give them to say, when it's something that you don't want to do, but you know it's the right thing to do, what do you tell yourself? You set a boundary, but you know that doing it for this person is going to benefit them, even though you know that they're not maybe the nicest person, you have history with them, but you know that the Christian thing or there's a moment in your purpose to have to do something for somebody. Like, what do you tell them? Because I know you still setting that boundary, right? Like, we still have to set that boundary, but what do you tell the person who's come back to you and say, Natasha, I know I don't want to do this, but I know it needs to be done. What tool can you give them to help them transition through that?
So you're saying when a person is coming to you and you're asking them to do something and you believe that it's God's way of telling you need to do this?
Right.
Well, you need to listen to God, because I don't think God is going to tell you to do something that you shouldn't do. But in that, God is speaking to you when you're feeling yourself, when you're sitting with yourself. And if it's not feeling good in your spirit, that's God. And he's telling you to do it or not to do it.
Gotcha.
Trusting yourself.
Gotcha.
Trusting yourself. Learning to trust yourself is a skill that I also work with my clients with. Learning to trust yourself and making good decisions for yourself, because it's really about you living your full life as God would want you to live.
That's good. That's good. And
Gotcha.
also, you said trusting yourself, but also trusting the process. Oftentimes our clients get triggered. Oftentimes our clients don't want to do things because it may make them uncomfortable. But as a therapist, it's our job to foster an atmosphere and to help them create tools that will allow them to trust the process. So, and even if you're getting triggered, stay in the ring. Stay in the ring. So I know Gil has something. He was looking at
Man, we only got 1 minute, but listen, I really appreciate y'all stressing on that, because of the fact that when you start talking about boundaries and you start walking this Christian life that we say, and it has to be a feeling, that it's okay to tap into our feelings. So many times as men, they don't want us to. They a lot of times we're not given open space to. But to hear you say to tap into our feelings and to tap into, not just men, women too, but men specifically, tap into your feelings, understand that you have an unction, and understand that you need to hear to that. So I really appreciate that, and setting boundaries is very important. And that self-care is what we need.
And we'll be right back after we take this break.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, service manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Are you paying high interest rates on a car loan? Do you desire to purchase a home, but you're unable to get approved? Perhaps you're repeatedly getting denied for credit when applying for credit cards. Listen, better credit doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen. I've helped hundreds of people better their credit and their overall financial situation by applying a simple set of instructions that anyone can follow. Call me today, 1-800-988-9184. That's Cathy Washington, your financial impact coach, at 1-800-988-9184. Don't delay. Call today.
Regina, the Queen of Car Loans here with Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed and driving today. Simply Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. Ride in style with the Queen. Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Hi, Joe Longhammer here from Joe Longhammer Chevrolet with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans and the Queen of Community. Isn't that right, Regina?
That's right. When you buy a car from me, you get on the road in style and you'll be enrolled in the Joe and the Queen's Community Program, where we help you work your way towards better credit.
Joe knows it's good to help our community here in Waterford and Metro Detroit.
To find me, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
We're still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat, where we have Natasha Selley-West in the building. So, Natasha, before we went on break, we talked about boundaries. We talked about self-care, but I need to ask a question. Why self-care? I know when we were talking, we talked about, the outer appearance, but why is self-care so important?
Self-care is very important because that's how you live your life. You live your life from the inside out. So when you're going through your day-to-day, check in with yourself. How am I feeling? Am I feeling on edge? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling stressed? Am I feeling angry? And so as long as you're doing the work, seeing a therapist, a licensed counselor to help you with these things, this is going to help you take care of your inner self. We can go get our nails done, get our hair done, buy all the bags and the shoes and all these things. However, it's not always enough. We need to take care of our inner self.
And you know what I learned about self-care? Self-care really is how you centering. As for me, Christ is my center. So self-care for me is really getting quiet somewhere, being still and being able to hear. And so when I don't take care of myself, if I'm running around constantly doing stuff, I find myself more anxious. And so it's when I sit and be in the presence of the Lord where I'm centered. So self-care for me is really being in tune with myself, like you said, being able to sit still and hear. And so, Natasha, with self-care, you talked a little bit about how nails and bags and all of those things, you may purchase those outer things, but none of those things really fulfill you.
No. And so that's a good time where you need to do something different because you're out here spending all this money, doing all these things, and it's still something empty. There's still something missing within you.
I appreciate that, Natasha. Tell these people how they can get a hold to you because I don't want to lose that part. Tell them how to get a hold to you.
Okay, I can be found on Psychology Today, and you can find me at Natasha Selley-West, which will lead you to my website. The name of my agency is Restoration Counseling Services, LLC.org.
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
Okay, it's Psychology Today, Natasha Selley-West, Restoration Counseling Services, LLC.org. So if you go to Psychology Today, that will link you to my website as well as my phone number and my email address. So you can reach out to me and I can give you a 10-minute free consultation just to make sure, I say that maybe I'm not for everyone. Just like you go get your hair done, the person can be nice all day long, but if they're not doing your hair right, then you're not going to deal with them. That's why a consultation is important.
That's great. So, Natasha, thank you so much for joining us today. It was such an awesome segment. So, for those listeners, contact Natasha Selley-West. We'll be right back after we take this break.
Are you paying high interest rates on a car loan? Do you desire to purchase a home, but you're unable to get approved? Perhaps you're repeatedly getting denied for credit when applying for credit cards. Listen, better credit doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen. I've helped hundreds of people better their credit and their overall financial situation by applying a simple set of instructions that anyone can follow. Call me today, 1-800-988-9184. That's Cathy Washington, your financial impact coach, at 1-800-988-9184. Don't delay. Call today.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, Service Manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Hi, Joe Longhammer here from Joe Longhammer Chevrolet with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans and the Queen of Community. Isn't that right, Regina?
That's right. When you buy a car from me, you get on the road in style and you'll be enrolled in the Joe and the Queen's Community Program, where we help you work your way towards better credit.
Joe knows it's good to help our community here in Waterford and Metro Detroit.
To find me, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Regina, the Queen of Car Loans here with Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed and driving today. Simply Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. Ride in style with the Queen, Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
We're back, and we're doing our last segment where we shout out different businesses in the area: Pontiac, Waterford, Southfield, Detroit, Macomb. But the first business I want to shout out is the Lip Bar, located at 1435 Farmer Street, Suite 122, Detroit, Michigan. This is a national brand that has a flagship store in downtown Detroit and features an incredible array of vegan, and cruelty-free makeup that offers wide range of shades and produces brand imaginary, did I make that up? Yes, featuring people of all ages and complexions. You can reach them at 313-952-5198, 313-952-5198, and you can also email them at info@lipbalm.com.
So the second business we are highlighting is rosegoldboutique.org. Rose Gold Boutique is owned by Sheena Worthy. This is an online shopping boutique. So women, you can shop from wherever you are by reaching out to Sheena at rosegoldboutique.org, or you can reach her. Her Instagram is shop.rosegoldboutique on Instagram. The number is 734-252-6864. Again, that's Rose Gold Boutique, owned by Sheena Worthy, and this is an online boutique where you can reach at Shop Rose Gold Boutique on Instagram or at rosegoldboutique.org.
We got Discount Candles coming up. Discount Candles Detroit, 1484 Gratiot Ave, 1484 Gratiot Ave. They have some great candles there, candle dressing for meditation, and scents from all across the world. They specialize in prosperity, good health, peace, wisdom, and powerful success candles. They are open at the Eastern Market Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. You can see them on Facebook at www.facebook.com/discountcandles. Telephone number if you want to reach them is 313-566-0092. That's Discount Candles Detroit.
The next business we are highlighting is New Reality Painting. NU Reality Painting. The owner is Wayne Carter, and you can reach him on Instagram at New Reality Painting. Wayne specializes in interior custom painting. He does a phenomenal job. I've actually used Wayne myself. If you're looking to get your house done, he is ready to do interior custom painting for you. You can reach him at 248-991-7033. Again, that's 248-991-7033. Wayne Carter with New Reality Painting.
Well, we had a great show. We do shout out businesses every week, and if you want your business shout out, you can email us at
beinthedriverseat@gmail.com. Again, that's beinthedrivers@gmail.com.
Happy Saturday, everyone.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Have a good week.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, Service Manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Are you paying high interest rates on a car loan? Do you desire to purchase a home, but you're unable to get approved? Perhaps you're repeatedly getting denied for credit when applying for credit cards. Listen, better credit doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen. I've helped hundreds of people better their credit and their overall financial situation by applying a simple set of instructions that anyone can follow. Call me today, 1-800-988-9184. That's Cathy Washington, your financial impact coach, at 1-800-988-9184. Don't delay. Call today.
Regina, the Queen of Car Loans here with Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed and driving today. Simply Google Regina the Queen of Car Loans. Ride in style with the Queen. Regina the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Hi, Joe Longhammer here from Joe Longhammer Chevrolet with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans and the Queen of Community. Isn't that right, Regina?
That's right. When you buy a car from me, you get on the road in style and you'll be enrolled in the Joe and the Queen's Community Program, where we help you work your way towards better credit.
Joe knows it's good to help our community here in Waterford and Metro Detroit.
To find me, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
You've been listening to Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore.
Brought to you by Joe Longhammer Chevrolet of Waterford.
Be in the Driver's Seat, a Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you. From Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore, thank you for listening.